What's holding you back? What's holding you back from doing what God's called you to do? What's holding you back from being the person you know that God's asking you to be? A lot of times we think we have to have it all together. We have to have it all figured out before God can use us, before we can tell somebody else what we know to be true. Sometimes we think before we speak on a situation, we already have to have it all figured out. But is that truly faith? Is it truly faith when we already have the end result? It doesn't take much faith for me to believe that God's going to deliver Daniel from the lion's den, because I already have read the rest of the story and I know how it ends. Does it take more faith to stand and tell somebody that God can heal from cancer after He's healed your cancer, or while you're still walking through your diagnosis? And yes, it's great to share your testimony after the fact. That gives hope. That gives hope to what's on the other side, what's possible. That is a living, breathing example of what God can do. But what I'm telling you today is you don't have to wait until you're on the other side of your miracle to declare faith into situations in your own life or the life of others. I can't tell you how many times I have spoken into marriages, spoken hope, and spoken restoration and how God can heal and all the things that God can do while my own marriage was struggling. I can't tell you how many times I have spoken wholeness over somebody and told them that God can take them from healing to being whole, and He wants to restore them and make them better than they were before and make them be the person that they were always created to be. And on the inside, I was shattered. See, we have this version in our head that we have to wait until we get the end, happily ever after story before we can tell our story or breathe hope into somebody else's situation. But when you can look at somebody and say, God is a healer and He can heal you of that tumor while you're standing there with a brain tumor inside of your head, what shows more faith? When you can stand up and you can keep telling people that their marriages can be restored, that they can be better than ever, and you still haven't found that peace in your own. It shows that you are living for God beyond what you are experiencing. You are showing faith in your relationship. God, I know I'm broken on the inside, but I'm going to keep teaching wholeness because I know your desire is to make people whole, and that I'm going to get there. But until I'm there, I'm going to keep telling people while I'm here. There have been many times when I have been on the other side of the testimony before it was good, that God has asked me to speak in the other situations and tell them about the goodness of God. Tell them about what He could do for their situation. When I was in the middle of the storm, He wanted me to speak peace, because it showed I had faith. I had faith that even though it was raining around me, the winds were blowing, the boat was rocking, and I felt like I was sinking, I knew that He was the peace speaker. So when you can proclaim things even before you see them, that's what the Bible calls faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the evidence of things not seen. So when you have faith, you can speak that into others even before you see it in your own life. You have a testimony. You have something to share. You have something to give. Don't wait for the end of your story before you start sharing what God can do. Even if you don't see it being done right now in your life, you can still speak it over other people's lives. Because the thing is, the more you speak it over others, the more it begins to come true for you. The more God begins working for you, because He sees, I haven't worked this situation out for them yet, but they are telling people that God takes care of their finances, and that even if they get themselves, even if they've made mistakes before, God can fix it, and God's going to do all this, and then they're struggling to pay their bills, and they're still speaking about me like I'm a provider, like I take good care of my kids, and they're barely making it. Because when you speak things as though they are, even though they're not, you are showing faith. And it's so much more than just, God, what you can do for me. You are taking the time to breathe hope into people and faith into their lives before you even have it figured out. And that, my friend, releases the favor of God. That, my friend, unlocks the windows of heaven. That, my friend, shows Jesus Christ that you are serving Him because you love Him and you truly believe that He's going to come through and do the things that He's promised that He's going to do. Even if you're holding on by a thread and you don't see it yet, you keep proclaiming it. You keep saying it. He's going to do this in my life. He's going to do this in your life because He is a good, good Father.